Do you still have a quarterback battle going on? How are things sussing out for the next Desmond Ridder, if you will, Coach?
Yeah, I call it life without Desmond Ridder is now begun. So you know what? It's exciting. It's interesting. You know, we got a unique situation, and we've got a guy that obviously has been behind him for a couple years, in Evan Prater, and kind of the Cincinnati kid. You know, in a lot of ways has done a great job the last 2 years. But there's another kid that was actually Des's backup for 3 years, who left last year, went to Eastern Michigan, started and threw for 3,000 yards or something like that, and then came back. And I know it's crazy, this landscape of college football, but Ben Bryant and Evan Prater, really, I mean, they've got the respect of the entire team. And for the first time in a long time, we're going to go into camp with a legitimate, like, hey, this is going to be really interesting, and we got to figure some things out. But it's going to be a battle.
And then how do you adjudicate this battle? I mean, do you talk to the? I mean, honestly, as you said, it's been a bit. So, what are the telltale signs here?
Yeah, no, I mean, like we had the battle. I was hoping maybe something would, kind of, show itself in spring ball, because they both were in spring ball, and it didn't. I think both of them got better, but you know how that goes. A lot of it is how the team, how's the team form, and what, because they both can do everything, but they do have different skill sets. And I think Ben is more by nature a natural passer, where Evan, is by nature a natural athlete to start with. And both can do, what we do, but I think, there's some differences with that position of saying, okay, now what best fits the team as the team continues to become us.
Luke Fickell of Cincinnati Bearcats football, the head coach, joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show. Your program kind of in the middle of a lot of chess pieces moving. At this point next year, when we talk, I'm going to say if, I said when we talk, and hopefully not while you're on vacation, that you're going to be a Big 12 coach, Coach Fickell. So how does that rearrange your recruiting? How did that maybe aid your recruiting? What is the future of Cincinnati now that you're in the Big 12 with all the moving pieces?
Yeah, that's a great question, because we've addressed it with our staff. And I've thought it out, and for us, it doesn't change really. We're going to recruit the same areas. We're going to recruit the same kids, and some people would ask that, like, well, you're going to be more, in the middle west, and maybe even down into Texas with some of the schools. Does that mean you're going to change and maybe recruit a little bit different? And no, we're going to stick in our 300-mile radius. We're going to still do the. I think 80% of our team, 81% of our team's from that 300-mile radius. We've always recruited those kids that maybe we didn't end up getting, whether for whatever reason, but we felt like those guys were what we were shooting for, and whether we, lost them to somebody in the Big 10 or somebody in the Big 12, we've always recruited that way. So I think that we'll in our minds stay the same way. We love the kind of kids that we got. We love the core and the crux of what our program is built around. I just think that what has happened last year, obviously with the success we've had on the football field, going into a new league, I kind of use the example that, like, the doors we used to have to kick down to get in to talk to them, they open them now. We still got to go in and seal the deal, and we'll have a few other bells and whistles to be able to do that with. And, but I don't think it changes how we go about our business.
Well, it also helps, though, to ensure you get a seat at a college football playoff table, even though you kind of kicked that door down yourself this past year, right? Wouldn't you agree with that?
No, it does. Those are all the kind of the stigmas that sometimes can hurt you in recruiting. The league and the non-power. I don't say those words, and I still will never say them even when we go to the Big 12. Those things are always some of that stuff that would be. Not negative recruiting, but the things that kind of get held over top of your head. And so we're kind of using that to say there's some of those things are going to be taken away. And I like to probably apply the pressure to us now. Like, okay, there's no excuses now, right? I mean, you're in battles in our own state head to head with Ohio State, and what's going to be the difference? And it's going to be about relationships. And you can't use the fact that, well, they keep throwing the Big Ten and the AAC things at us, and that's the reason they make the choices. So. It's great. I think our kids will be. They're not talking about it now, but will be just so excited about some new venues and some different competition, I should say.